How's it going, guys? Today I have another poorly made video, this time in regards to the new Gorillaz album, The Now Now. Now, I've been following the Gorillaz for quite some time now. Couldn't always call myself the biggest fan, but I have enjoyed a lot of their stuff. Their debut has some good stuff on it. I'm a little bit lukewarm on some of it. It's kind of all over the place. But then Demon Days was excellent. That's one of my favorites. And then Plastic Beach took a poppier route and still really enjoyed it, almost as much as Demon Days. And then The Fall, I haven't really listened to that one enough to give a solid opinion on it. But then in 2017, we got Humans. And this album, like the debut, is a bit all over the place. The first half, I think, is pretty strong, but then in the second half, it falls off. And overall, I think it's drowning in its own features, and I think it kind of forgets what the Gorillaz are, per se. But now, here we are in 2018, just a year after Humans, surprisingly. Now we have The Now Now, which is a whole different beast. Perhaps a more tame beast, but in a good way. It's far more consistent, and it's very 2D heavy, dropping almost all the features you saw in Humans. On this one, there's only 3 features, 2 on one song and 1 on the other, I believe. And so now you have this more laid-back album that we're just going to look at track by track. And I'm going to give each song a rating, and then we're going to average them up and see what we get. If I like it, we'll keep it. If not, I'll change the final score. So Humility opens the album, and the song is about 2D and I guess his newfound happiness now that Murdoch is in jail. In case you didn't know, that's what's going on right now in the narrative. I know I don't follow the narrative that much, but I do know that. And so the song is just about him turning a new leaf in his life, and the music kind of reflects that. It's very light. I like the tropical plucky guitars in the background. They mix well with the synths and the drum machine. And at some points they all come together and it just sounds fantastic. And probably my favorite part is the bridge on this one that leads into the outro, which just sounds like pure ear candy. Overall, it's a good opener. I give it an 8 out of 10. So Trans is a song that I'm not too crazy about. I'll tell you what I do like about it first. I like the 80s style synths in the background. I think it makes for a good beat, and I think the rhythm of the vocals on the verses is pretty good. But other than that, I don't think the lyrics are that interesting. And also, those verses kind of just lead up to this kind of weak hook where 2D's vocal delivery isn't really that great. I think it's actually kind of silly. So between the simple verses I do like and the weak hook, there's not really a lot going on for this song. So I'm gonna give it a 5 of mediocrity. Hollywood is the most feature heavy that this album gets. It features Snoop Doggy Dogg and Jamie Principle. And, it's a song about Hollywood, obviously, and how it's sort of its own American dream, where the pursuit of this Hollywood lifestyle, kind of does things to a person. And so, in that sense, I like the lyrics on this song and how they discuss that. It's not the best thing on this album, but it's really not that bad. I like the chorus. It's kind of drab and glum, and that's not a bad thing. It's reflective of the song itself. And, it's still catchy. I'm not really a big fan of Jamie Principle's part in this song. He always kind of exaggerates his vocal delivery and always just sounds kind of silly. So, not really a big fan of him here. Also wasn't a big fan of him on Sex Murder Party from the last album. But Snoop Dogg, I like his verse here. It's reflective, once again, of the song. It accomplishes the same thing that Jamie Principle's lyrics were doing, but in a more entertaining way. So the chorus and his verse kind of make the song, and with all that combined, I give it a 6 out of 10. Kansas is a song that hits me right in the feels. It's a song about someone who's fallen from grace and isn't too worried about it because they're hoping that they have room for growth left in them. And with that kind of song, you get some nice introspective lyrics, and overall a song that just flows really well. I like the wompy bass on this one and how it follows 2D's voice on the chorus. And speaking of the chorus, every time that chorus comes around, it's so simple but so effective. Overall, it's a great, nice, slow groove, and I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Sorcerers is a nice, simple, chill, and compacted song. A quick couple verses that lead into a nice, catchy chorus. I really love the chorus on this one. I could listen to 2D all day, just tell everyone to calm down. It's the song isn't really allowed for much discussion. I don't really have much to say about it. I like how 2D's vocals kind of just float along on the verses, leading into that nice chorus. That's really about it. I give it a 7 out of 10. Idaho's another nice, simple, slow ballad on this album. It's in a similar vein to Kansas, but with a more country twist with this acoustic guitar that comes in the beginning. I wish there were more moments like that on this album. It sounds very nice. And overall, the song gives off this nice dreamy vibe. I wish there was a little more going on, but it's still an overall good song. I like 2D's vocals on this one. They kind of just glide across the synths and the guitar. It's all very nice and well done. I still give it a 6 out of 10 for being a little overly simplistic for me, but still good. Lake Zurich is an almost completely instrumental song. I probably would have given it like a 4 if I did this upon first listen, but luckily I gave this album a good 4 or 5 listens before doing this review to, counter in the Gorillaz effect, which most fans call it, where a lot of these songs, you're not really big on them at first, but after a few listens, a lot of these really grow on you. And I'm not saying this grew on me completely, but still, I started to notice some little intricacies. I really like the bass on this one. If you're not up on your Gorillaz lore, Ace is now the bassist, or at least the temporary bassist, and I guess he in this universe would be responsible for that nice bass. And also, I like when the brass instruments come in near the end. And with those little intricacies, I think my enjoyment level of the song caps off at a 6 out of 10. Magic City is a song that reminds me a lot of David Bowie's Space Oddity for some reason. I think it is the tempo of the song mixed with some of the instrumentation, and also 2D's vocal delivery is kind of Bowie-esque. But anyways, that's just kind of an observation. But yeah, I do like the synths and drum machine combo on this one. I mean, it's throughout the entire album, but it's particularly good here. And I also like just the story being woven here, I guess. From what I understand, I think the song is about just getting lost in your own self-discovery. And I like how the lyrics go into that and kind of carry into this nice, dazzling chorus. So overall, I'm feeling an 8 out of 10 on this song. So here we have Fireflies, which is another slow ballad on this album. And the wompy synth basses make a return, and they carry on throughout the song. Once again, they sound pretty good. I think, in my mind, this is a song that benefited greatly from the Gorillaz effect, as after a few listens, I started to really appreciate the lyrics on this one. I can't really decipher them. I just know that I like how they sound, and I like how they flow. I think the best part of this song is the bridge that kind of crescendos into one final verse that really makes the song for me. Overall, I'm feeling a 7 out of 10 on this one. So 1% is another song that's on the slower side, and up to this point I've really enjoyed the slower ballads, but this one kind of just really drags for me, and there's not really a lot going on both lyrically and instrumentally. And then just as it seems to get interesting and starting to pick up, it kind of just ends. And, I'm kind of just left hanging. So, yeah, I'm feeling like a 5 out of 10 on this one. Because just as it feels like it's going to hit a climax, it just stops. And up to that point, it really wasn't that interesting. So, yeah, I'm going to stick with the 5. Sukai closes this album on a really good note. The instrumentation here starts off really light with an acoustic guitar and some light percussion, and then 2D comes in and he just steals the show. The lyrics are great. I'm really glad that this was a very 2D heavy album, that all of it was 2D, because Damon just really just packed them full of emotion here, and it just shows on the entire album, and especially here. The lyrics are excellent. And the instrumentation, like I said, just carries the song very well. And probably the best part of this song is the last 2 minutes where we get the outro, and the synths you've been hearing for the whole album kind of just finally whisk you away, and then these pianos come in, they sound nice, and then as the song quiets down, you get this nice glockenspiel that finally just takes you out of the album. And overall, I think it's really a versatile song, both instrumentally and with the song structure. So I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. It's a really good album closer. So now, when you add up all 11 song ratings and divide by 11, because that's what an average is, you get an outcome of a 6.8 out of 10, which I do agree with. I'm just going to round it up to a 7 out of 10, because I like whole and half numbers. So I'm going to stick with the 7 out of 10, because I think it represents the album fairly well. This is an album that overall deserves the 7 score because it was good. It was consistent with its, very synthy sound. And like I said, I like the fact that it's very 2D heavy. Overall, this is a great improvement over Humans. And I'd put this up there with their other really good albums like Plastic Beach and Demon Days. Perhaps just below those albums. And the reason it's not like an 8 or a 9 is because I think some of the songs just miss the mark and just leave me wanting a little bit more. But that's about it. That's my main complaint. Overall, good album, guys. So that about does it for this review. If you guys have any suggestions for what I should do in the future, I'm open to anything you give me. So if you leave something down there and I like it, I will listen to it until I'm able to rate all 10 songs. So go for it. If you're one of the, 10, 15 people that see this, And, let's make that a goal. Today's goal is 10 views over, 2 years. Can we do it, guys? Let's find out. All right, guys.